She sat with papers in front of her and a pen in her hand, lost in deep thoughts. The paper was the divorce document she had prepared with her lawyer. Today her heart ached with pain, but she saw no other option to escape this suffering. Once she was free from this relationship, she would also free her heart from his love. This thought keeps circulating in her mind, but forgetting someone she had loved more than her own life was not easy. All it took was one final decision, one signature, and she would be separated from him forever. His name, their relationship, and his presence would be erased from her life. She had loved once, and that love had become her suffering. Since then, she had grown to despise herself. Tears began to flow from her eyes due to the intensity of her pain. Since he was never meant to be hers, clinging to the relationship was foolish. He had broken her heart, causing her immense pain, and instead of apologizing or showing remorse, he had hurt her even more with his words. After battling her inner turmoil, she had made up her mind she would free herself from all this and move far away where his name would be unknown. However, she forgot that he resides in her heart, accompanying her everywhere. Finally, with trembling hands, she firmly grasped the pen and began signing the documents. As she signed, her tears flowed like a stream, but she didn't care about anything at that moment. After signing all the documents, she closed the file and finally she burst into tears, covering her face with her hands and sobbing uncontrollably. Everything was over. Her beautiful dreams, her love, her trust, her happiness. Today, she cried for the last time, mourning the loss of her love. She wanted to cry to lighten the burden on her heart and bury everything in the past. As she heard the knock on the door, she immediately composed herself, wiping away her tears and taking a deep breath to calm down. She then got up to open the door. As she opened the door, she turned away and headed towards the kitchen, not wanting him to notice that she had been crying. However, I had already seen her red puffy eyes. He closed the door behind him and noticing the file on the table, nodding in understanding, then he followed her to the kitchen. "Wine, would you like some coffee or something to eat? I can make it for you," she said, trying to appear busy while sensing his presence. He didn't respond, but instead walking up behind her, wrapping one arm around her shoulder and the other around her waist. He hugged her tightly from behind, and Vine was taken aback by the sudden touch. She felt something strange and familiar. He had hugged her before, but today it felt different. "Taeyong, you can cry now," he said softly, resting his forehead on Vine's head. Vine took a deep breath and calmed herself. "Fine, Taeyong, I am not crying and I don't need to." Taeyong, your eyes tell a different story. You have my reason to cry. Wine, cry as much as you want, but think carefully once more. Are you sure you want to do this? Wine, no, Tay, I have made up my mind. I just want to be free from all this now. I exuded from enduring it all. Taeyong, you will be free from the relationship, but how will you free yourself from these feelings? You are still crying for him even after all this time. I don't think you'll ever be able to do. When I already do it. I have signed the divorce paper. Now I want to free myself from this relationship and these feelings. I want to go somewhere far away and start my life anew. I am tired of crying. I am not worthy of any happiness or peace. You deserve happiness and peace, but you'll never be able to let someone else in your life again. Even if you free yourself from these feelings, you'll still be alone. You think you'll start a new life, but living in a solitude will be difficult for you. You won't even want to live, and I don't want to see you in this state. Whatever decision you make, I'll be with you, but please think about what I said. He gently kissed her hair and stepped back, having said what he needed to. He was aware of Hyun's trait as well as Jungkook's during days. Jungkook didn't say much and he was skilled at hiding his emotions. However, Tai was also his brother and he could sense his trait by looking at him. Wine turned to look at Tai, who was gazing at her with deep, piercing eyes. Would you like to something to eat? She asked and quickly looked away, not wanting to change her decision. Then yes, I'll have some coffee. Can you make me a sandwich and pack it for me and make one coffee for yourself too? We can have it together today. Why do you want me to pack a sandwich for you to take with you today? I'm not hungry yet, but I feel like eating a sandwich made by you. Who knows when we'll meet again or if we'll ever get to eat your cooking again. I'll eat it when I get home later. When I'll let you know wherever I am not ending a relationship. You are the only brother I have in this life. I won't push you away from me. You can come to my place whenever you want. I'll make it you go sit in the living room and wait for me. No, I'll sit here in front of you with you, he replied, sitting down on the chair while silently continued making the coffee and sandwich. He knew Van was not feeling well and needed someone by her side at that moment. Leaving her alone wouldn't be good either. He spent some time with Vine and then picked up the divorce paper file and left. Vine watched him leave and she would never forget how Ty, like a brother, took care of her during her difficult times. Returning home after dinner, Ty picked up the file and box and headed towards Jungkook's room. This was the first time in 5 months that he was going to Jungkook's room. Stopping at the door, he knocked, and after a while, Emma opened it. Jungkook was not in the room, and Emma's heavily twin pregnant belly made it difficult for her to move around. Seeing Ty standing at the door, a smile appeared on Emma's face. Since she had come to this house, no one except the servant had come to her room, and no one had talked to her much. Emma, come in, Hyung. Why are you standing outside? Emma said softly, moving aside to let Ty in. He entered quickly without showing any expression and looked around the room for Jungkook, who was nowhere to be found. Where is Jungkook? He asked in a brief, cold tone, looking at Emma. Everyone cold and aloof behavior towards her always saddened her, but she always thinks she deserved it, so she would always force a smile to hide her true feelings. Emma, he is in the study room, she replied, pointing towards the study room. With a faint smile on her lips, Ty headed towards the study room. Taeyong opened the study room door and entered, finding Jungkook engrossed in some files spread out before him. Startled by the sudden entrance, Jungkook looked up to see Taeyong, and his expression revealed a hint of surprise. You, what's bring you here today? Come sit, he asked, closing the file and setting them aside to give his full attention to Taeyong. It had been a long time since his brother had visited him, and they had not even exchanged greetings since Ryan left. Taeyong, I had to come. I had something to give you. He replied, sitting down on the couch across from Jungkook and placing the file in front of him. Jungkook, what's this? He asked with a faint smile, opening the file to examine its contents, and he scanned the document. His expression shifted, and the brief smile vanished instantly. His gaze fell upon Ryan's signature at the end of the papers. Jungkook, so this is her final decision, he muttered, taking a deep, cold breath to compose himself. She wants a divorce and has already signed the paper. All that left is your signature. After that, everything will be end, he said, his voice trailing off into uncomfortable silence. Jungkook's gaze remained fixed on the divorce paper, his pale face a testament to his inner turmoil. Try heart's edge at the side, feeling as thought Jungkook had become a stranger disconnected from his surroundings. Taeyong, Jungkook, he called out softly, placing a hand on Jungkook's, and Jungkook snapped back to reality, looking away from the divorce paper and Tae. Jungkook, yes, go on. You were saying something, he replied, his lips pursed tightly together as he flipped through the papers again, a bitter smile across his lips as he noticed the dry tears stained on the papers. Taeyong, I was just saying that I don't know why you did this, and I'll never understand because you never shared your pain or troubles with me. You have always faced everything alone. But you always smile and looked in front of us. But I am your brother, and even if I am not good at it, I can at least try to understand you a little. I have seen the love you have for wine in your eyes, and I feel the joy that lightens up your face when you see her. No matter how troubled you are, you'll never stop smiling or talking to people. But now I have not even seen a smile on your face. Taeyong, if you can still change something, then do it, Jungkook. Otherwise, everything will be over. She'll go very far away. You love her, and she loves you. I know a lot has changed, and things can't go back to how they were before. But if you can make one last effort to stop her from living your life, then do it. He spoke with hope, but deep down he knew that separation would only bring pain to both Jungkook and Ryan, and he couldn't bear to see them suffer. Jungkook, nothing can be changed, Taeyong. Everything is already over. What's left in a life worth smiling about? Dad doesn't talk to me, doesn't even look at me. Mama isn't the same either because her son has ruined someone's total life. Jaya, who used to call me brother and talk to me, laugh and play with me, now walks away whenever she sees me without even saying hello. That's because her idol brother is a deceitful person. You have also stopped talking to me, stopped looking at me. You have come to me after 5 months only to give me this. Jungkook picked up the divorce file and showed it to Taeyong, his voice cracking as tears welled up in his eyes. Tae's heart ached at the sight of his brother in such a state. Jungkook took a deep breath to compose himself, not wanting to cry in front of anyone. Jungkook, I decide the girl I love the most. She deserves to be far away from me. I'm not worthy of her being with me. She has the right to be free from me. It's good that she is going far away, that she'll live her life well and be happy. How long she could have stayed in this meaningless relationship with someone like me. She silently accepts every decision I made without questioning, trusting everything. So it's my duty to respect her decision, not reject it or force her into something. Jungkook tell her that she'll receive the divorce notice in a few days and after that she can go whenever she wants. She waited this long so she can wait a few more days and thank you for doing all this for me. Jungkook closed the file and opened another one, taking a deep breath. Taeyang, is this really your final decision? He asked, looking at Jungkook with concern. You don't seem to be making this decision wholeheartedly. If you are making it based on emotions, I advise you to think it through again and make a well thought out decision. It's not easy to make this choice, and I also have something else for you. Tae placed a lunchbox in front of Jungkook, who looked at him with questioning eyes. Thang, open it and see for yourself. Jungkook pulled the lunchbox close and smiled faintly as he saw the sandwich inside, but his eyes were tinged with sadness. It was Hwayen's signature grilled sandwich which she loved, and she often made for others too. Her way of making sandwich was distinct, and he could easily recognize them as hers. Jungkook, thanks. How did you think of this time? I just thought of my brother and wondered if something might change your mind. Even if it doesn't, at least have this one last thing. Eat something made by her hands. Thanks again for thinking of me like this. It's a huge favor. Jungkook's gaze remained fixed on the sandwich and Ty inferred from the way Jungkook looked at them that he loved Fine deeply. He loves her so much, yet he is giving up on her. Tai thought at least he won't deceive her, but Taeyong was unaware of the truth or why Jungkook was acting this way, constantly blaming himself without making any excuse or explaining himself, and he never intended to reveal the truth. Taeyong quietly stood up to leave but stopped when he saw Emma standing on the study room door. He walked over to her, gently placed his hand on her head, observing her fragile state. Emma was beautiful and seemed innocent. She was not looking like Kuning or homebreaker girls. And take care, don't overexert yourself. If you need anything or have any tasks, don't hesitate to come to me and ask. Emma, thank you, Hyung. She said, her eyes began to well up with tears. For the first time in his house, someone had spoken to her with kindness. Tai also smiled at her and left, and she went to Jungkook. Emma, are you crying? She asked, looking at Jungkook, who was lost in thought, his eyes streaming with tears. As he came back to his senses, he quickly wiped away his tears. No, I was not crying. My eyes are just watering because they are irritated. Why are you still up so late? I have told you so many times to take your medicine and go to bed on time. His voice was stringent with artificial anger, trying to change the subject. Emma looked at him intently. Emma, why are you avoiding the topic? Your eyes are telling me that you are crying. Did mine make this sandwich for you? She asked, glancing at the sandwich. Jungkook, no, she didn't send this for me. She made them for Taeyong, but he gave them to me. He sent something used for me, or maybe she is asking me for something. He opened the file containing the divorce paper and picked up the pen. Emma, what is this? She asked curiously, not understanding the context of Jungkook's words. She was sitting on the couch, a little distance away from him, so she couldn't see what she was in the file. Jungkook's gaze was fixed on Ryan's signature on the file while Emma's heart stumbled at the single word. She quickly grabs Jungkook's hand, holding the pen. Emma, what are you doing? You are going to do it without even thinking about it once. She spoke in a panicked tone. Jungkook, I am thinking and don't worry, I am not signing yet. It's not that easy for me. I'll need to gather my courage multiple times before I can sign. Whether it's today or tomorrow, I have to do it. She already signed, and I think this is for the good for both of us. Emma, why are you doing this? She might not know anything. Maybe she's doing this in anger or distress. But you know everything. You don't you go to talk her, tell her everything. I am sure she'll understand. Jungkook, she's already understood what she needed to. Emma, if she wants in this way, she must have thought it through. A relationship without trust is worthless anyway. No one can spend their life with a deceitful person, and you know that better than anyone. It's better that she escaped from someone like me, a deceitful person, and lives a happy life. Emma, you are not like that. Please stop saying that about yourself. It hurt me whenever seen a be- I never seen a better person than you in my life, Jungkook. You think that, but the reality is the opposite. Let's not discuss this further. The decision has been made, and now I have responsibilities to fulfill. To get some rest now. Emma, you have no responsibility towards this. Your responsibility is towards those you are thinking of leaving behind. And you won't do that if you think about it. If you do, I'll leave and go very far away. Tears began to flow from her eyes. She was a simple, innocent girl who trusted everyone. She couldn't bear the thought of ruining someone's life because of hers or being the reason two lovers were separated. She just couldn't tolerate that. Jungkook, you can't go anywhere in this state, and where would you go? Is there someone who can take care of you? It's my responsibility now, and don't think about it again. His harsh words sparked anger, but he didn't realize the impact until he saw Emma's stare. He felt ashamed. Emma, I can go anywhere and you can't stop me. If no one else is there for me, I can at least die. You cannot stop me from that. Anyway, living a meaningless life is pointless for me. Wiping away her tears, she spoke in a trembling tone and left. Jungkook held his head in regret. He pulled out the ring from the chain around his neck, hidden under his shirt. Jungkook, I'm extremely bad person, unintentionally correct, but I end up hurting everyone's feelings. It's better if I just try. Whispering to himself, he pressed his lips to the ring, and tears fell from his eyes. Since when left, the ring on the chain had become a noose around his neck, one he had to wear for the rest of his life. After some time, Taehyung and Emma were standing outside Vian's apartment. Emma wanted to meet Vian, and she had barely convinced Try to take her to meet Vines once. For the first time, Emma had asked Taeyang for something, and seeing her condition, he couldn't refuse, although he didn't know why she wanted to meet Vian. Before ringing Vian's doorbell, I looked at Emma and said, a bit nervous. Taeyang, are you sure you want to meet Vian? Think about it one more time. After seeing you, maybe she behaved a little harshly. Can you handle that? Your condition doesn't look good to me already. He spoke with concern as they had come without telling Jungkook, and Emma's condition seemed fragile, being her last month of pregnancy. Emma, no, she is not like that. I have seen her. She is very kind. I am sure she will understand me, she said, fidgeting with her finger, looking a bit nervous, while she herself didn't have much hope that Fine would even listen to her. Taeyong, she already made up her mind, and I don't think she'll change it just because you ask her to. Why do you want to do this? It's better for you if she lives your life. Emma, no, it's not better for me. I don't want to harm someone for my own benefit, and I don't want to live with a guilt. Time. Okay, as you want, you can try once, but I don't think you will succeed. She is a very stubborn girl. Tai said, ringing the doorbell, and both of them waited for the door to open. After some time, Vine opened the door and was surprised to see Tai standing outside her apartment again at such late hours. She stepped aside, allowing him to enter. Vine, why have you come again at this time? She asked, still unaware of Emma's princess presence behind Tai. Someone wanted to meet you, he replied, entering the apartment followed by Emma. He gestured to Emma standing behind him, and Vine's eyes widened in concern and alarm as she saw Emma in her apartment in such state. Vine, Taeyeon, have you gone crazy? Why did you bring her here at this late hours? Had you lost your mind? Did Jungkook give you permission to bring her here at this time? He spoke. Hwan spoke anxiously, her voice strained with anger as she remembered Jungkook's words that had kept her away from Emma. Now Emma stood before her. Time. Relax, Jungkook doesn't know about this. Emma was adamant about meeting you now, so I bowed her. Why, you're just a child, am I right? And you've brought here in this street without telling her husband. Take her back right now, Taeyong. Vine's voice rose in anger and Emma grew even more nervous. Emma, please, Nuna, I just have one request to make of you. Please just sit and listen to me once and then I'll leave. Don't be angry with Hyung. It's my fault. I was stubborn with him. I know you don't like me, but please just listen to me once. She spoke in a soft, melancholic tone, and one looked at her. Emma was beautiful and seemed innocent, evoking pity to the extent that merely looking at her made one feel compassionate. Who wouldn't love someone like her? One shook off her thoughts, and as she looked at Emma, her tone softened. One, it's not that I don't like you. Who couldn't dislike a girl like you? You shouldn't have come here. Your husband loves you and must be worried about you. You should go home. He already hates me. If anything happens to you, he'll hate me even more. Please go home. It's better for everyone. Wine voice cracked and her tone fluttered towards the Emma, he is not my husband and he doesn't love me. He loves you so much. Please don't leave him. He is even going to sign divorce paper for you. Please stop him. Ryan turned to look at Emma, who seems crazy to her at that moment, saying nonsensical things. Try, on the other hand, looked stunned. His expression incredulous. Ryan, I think she is gone mad, but you still have some sense left. Please take her home and leave from here. Her old wounds felt fresh again, and she didn't want to hear any more nonsense or believe it. Emma, please, Nona, listen to me just once. Please, she begged. My pregnancy is a high risk, and I don't know if I'll survive after giving birth. But someone else is paying the price of my sins. Someone else's life is being ruined because of me. This guilt is killing me. Please listen to me just once. She took two steps forward, closer to Ryan, and tears began to stream down her face. Her words and tears left Ryan speechless for a moment. Ryan, if she is saying all this, then listen to her once with patience. You know Jungkook, he bears his own pain but doesn't let anyone share it, and he is being quite natured from the start. Ryan, don't say that. Emma, you are going to be a mother. Think positively. May God grant your life for your child's sake. Don't worry, sit down. It's not good for you to stand for so long in this strait. Ryan took Emma's hand and made her sit on the couch and handed her a glass of water. Then she sat herself a little distance away from Emma. Emma, thank you, Nuna. That what I have heard about you from Jungkook. You are even better than that. Um, Honestly, it feels strange to hear Jungkook talks about you. Ryan Ty smiled and Ryan at him with serious eyes, which made him serious too. Ryan, tell me, what do you want to say? Why are you so restless, and why did you say Jungkook isn't your husband? You know how wrong that is, don't you? Emma, he is not my husband. He is just my good friend. I know you might think I am lying since you witnessed our wedding, but believe me, I am telling the truth. If you recall, we didn't exchange vows, and the papers we signed were useless. The pretest was also fake. Jungkook paid him to lie. How could he marry me with you by his side? He didn't want to marry me, and I didn't want to marry him. He just did it to show the world. Taehyung, you are not making any sense, girl. Why would he do that, Emma? Just to show the world, so he couldn't, so he could take the blame for my sin, save me from shame, and protect my children from being called fatherless. My father forced him into this, and before my father died, he made Jungkook promise to do this. You know the legends. I am their daughter. My father's left this world because of me. Her voice cracked and tears streamed down her face as she spoke, while Ryan listened stunned. Jungkook was sitting in his office in the morning when his secretary came to and told him that his business partner had been in accident. He rushed to the hospital ward and found his partner lying on the hospital bed, severely injured and taking his last breath. It was hard for Jungkook to see him in this state. He was like a father to him, teaching him how to do business and helping him reach this point. A 21-year-old girl, his daughter, sat a little distance away, crying uncontrollably. Jungkook walked towards him with heavy steps and he looked at him with tear-filled eyes.